the nighttime. Trap nigga with the chickens like Popeye.
When is it? There it is. Welcome back to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Earbuds Podcast. We are the Hive Mind. We're the Hive Mind. Yeah. I forgot. Okay. Welcome back to Earbuds, everybody. The show, the music news show, where three buds talk about what we like to put in our ears. On today's show, we're going to talk about our most anticipated projects of 2018. We're going to do a little Grammy recap because the Grammys were last week. And we have a segment called New Kidz On The Block, Kids with a Z. Joining me today, as always, Matt Griffin. Today's episode is sponsored by Miller 64, a perfectly balanced 64-calorie light beer that tastes like beer-flavored water. Also here, speaking of beer-flavored water, Ben Danzig.
I gave him that beer-flavored water, if the fans at home are wondering. I got two shout-outs. I'm going to save one for the end.
I wonder who it is.
First shout-out is to our buddy Nick Blausch, fantastic drummer. He put me on to this new Chris Dave album, Third First Impressions, the demo session 2011. I've heard about Chris Dave for a while now. He's worked on, ton of projects that you've probably heard of. Justin Bieber's Purpose, Ed Sheeran's X, Adele's 21. I've known about this guy for a while, but now he's finally coming out onto the scene. So take a look at that.
We're very excited for that. Coming right up, first topic on the board, our most anticipated projects of 2018. So I'm going to throw some names at you guys, and I want you guys to tell me if you are excited for their upcoming project. These are people that, some of them have kind of confirmed they have a project. Some of them were wondering if they're going to have a project. So if they release something new in 2018, I want you guys to tell me excited, don't care, or please, no, God, please don't release something new, which I don't think any of these are going to be that. Let's start off with the big boys. Frank Ocean. Really?
I don't expect him to drop an album this year, I think is my issue.
That's fair. It had been 4 years between album 1 and album 2, or 2 and 3, however you want to call it. But what if he does release something? Aren't we excited? I'm excited.
Yeah.
If he drops something.
For sure.
What is up with you today?
Did you not like Blonde?
I wasn't crazy about it. I only really liked a few songs.
Oh, wow. We've never.
But that's on me.
This is bad radio, but I'm strangling Ben across the table right now.
like Bart Simpson.
Did you like Blonde?
I loved Blonde.
Yeah.
I loved everything that Frank has ever done.
I love Channel Orange, but I couldn't get on board with Blonde.
Blonde, I had this weird reaction to it. My brother and I listened to it, and at first we were looking at each other like, what is this? Especially with Nikes, when he starts off like that. What is this? But I grew to love it, and I still think that Frank Ocean is a genius.
Yeah, I agree. He's a very artistic person, and I think he makes really good music. It's just not for me.
Okay, fair. All right. How about Anderson .Paak? We pretty much are sure that his band, the Free Nationals, are going to release an album this year. He's probably going to be on that because he's their head guy. How do we feel about that?
Very excited.
Yeah, ecstatic.
Very excited. He's been on fire.
He's always put on heat. Even in all of his features are good too.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't really have a weak point in my eyes.
Yeah.
He's been turned with Bruno Mars. I'm hoping that maybe they made something while they were on the road.
Wow, that would be great.
Right?
Their styles really mix well.
A little throwback, a little soulful.
Yeah.
I think that could be a really good collab.
Oh.
Next up, we got Earl Sweatshirt. Remember that guy?
Yeah. When was his last project?
It was a while ago, I think.
2016, I think.
Okay.
I don't like shit when I go outside, right?
Yeah.
I think that's got to be 2016 or early 2017, if that. 2015. It's 2015. Wow. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Earl Sweatshirt's one of those guys. I've always heard he's really good, but never really got into him because it seems like a lot of his music is more lyrical rather than like jump out at you like crazy good flows and like, you know, fast hard hitting beats and stuff like that. I mean, Matt listened to him a decent amount, so you could probably talk more about it.
Yeah, I was big on the Odd Future train in high school, so I got into Earl early on in my intense hip hop head days. So I mean,
early on,
I've been hanging out with my brother too much.
And anything that I've heard from Earl, I've loved, but I don't think I've like actually listened to his entire album.
I like Doris, which is his album from 2013. I haven't really listened to it. I don't like shit when I go outside, but it's kind of on the same vein as Ben's reasoning. Like on Doris, you get some not like bangers, but just good production, good beats that you can vibe along to pretty easily. Like Chum is my favorite Earl song, which is super mainstreamy, but whatever. It sounds super good, but I don't know. He's also changed a lot recently, which is why I actually, the more I talk about it, I'm pretty excited for this album, because in a lot of his NPR interviews, he's very spiritual now and kind of like shits on his younger self. And he was like, yeah, Odd Future was just a weird phase of my life. Like I was very angsty and just kind of, he understands his faults at that point. So
I heard about his story about how like his mom sent him to like a camp.
A correctional school,
yeah.
I think is what maybe.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Something like that. It was like a correctional.
Yeah, because he was
school.
a little naughty kid, naughty boy. Okay, well, Earl.
If being naughty is making sick mixtapes at 16, you know, good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Maybe we should have been a little naughtier.
Yeah, true.
Lauren's laughing on the couch. I gotta laugh. All right, let's do Drake. So Drake has released 2 singles. Do you guys think he's going to release an album this year, and are we excited for it?
He will definitely release an album. I think he's got a formula now. Like he'll put out like probably a 20-song project, somewhere between 15 and 20 songs. And will those all be quality songs? Probably not. But God's Plan has been playing nonstop in my headphones recently. I don't know. It's just infectious. And every time I'm like, ooh, another Drake song. And I'm pretty excited. But then I just get roped in. Even if it's not a quality song, he just knows how to make a song sound good. Yeah. For me. I don't know what it is.
He's got something. Both of the singles were a little nonchalant for me. I did like how he said some stuff, like about how he lost to J-Lo. I like that one. Yeah. He like actually talked about it. He talked about Joe Budden, which was kind of like, whoa, he went there.
Poking the bear.
Yeah. Do you think Joe Budden's going to answer?
See,
he says he's retired, but...
Dude, for me, Joe Budden, like, isn't fucking relevant. Like,
That's true.
Who's the youngest person that has listened to a Joe Budden album?
What is a famous Joe Budden song?
I don't think
have I ever heard a Joe Budden song.
And I know of Joe Budden. I know he's like, I've seen some like mixtapes in the past, just like scanning different things, but I've never been like, oh, you listen to that Joe Budden song? No, never.
I think his most famous songs are the ones where he disses Drake, which is kind of sad. And he became way more famous from the podcast / show that he did for Complex called Everyday Struggle, which was what I wanted this podcast to become, but never became that, because they were always like, it was the debate. It was always centered around the debate. Like, they talked about music news, centered around hip hop, but it was always like debate, and they both got on my nerves.
It's and that's kind of like how they keep getting viewers, is because it's such a polarizing,
controversial topics.
It's like the music version of First Take. You have like Stephen A, Skip Bayless. I know there are new people on there now, but just having that contrast gets people riled up, because you're like, did you hear what Joe Budden said? Did you hear what he said about Migos? You know, like, they make headlines, which is what counts, and you get those clicks.
And I think he knows that, and that's why he's so the way he is. But he's not on that show anymore, meaning everyone's gonna flock to our podcast.
Oh yeah,
Joe,
there's a void to fill.
Joe, if you're looking to get a spot on our podcast, maybe just one feature.
Joe.
Yeah,
we
Joe-
did kind of talk about how nobody's ever heard a Joe Budden song.
If you want to get well known on our podcast,
Oh, shit.
well, we should start playing Joe Budden songs for the intro.
Just to get him some. Yeah, but
some free plays.
that'll guide all the listeners away.
Oh shit!
Okay, that's enough shitting.
Wait,
on
no. Can we go back to
Can we
talking
call
about
our
Drake?
podcast
Drake.
Ear
Let's go
Budden?
back to Drake.
Because
Ear
Drake's a
Budden.
way bigger deal.
Sorry,
Ear Budden.
I had to say.
All right, back
Okay,
to the
so
real story.
I
Drake.
am very excited about a Drake project.
Okay.
Because he's been really good recently. I mean, he's put out a track. I mean, he's put out an album or 2 albums like the last 3 years.
That's true.
More Life wasn't, a great whole album, but certainly had some really great, standout songs.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Views as an entire album. I know a lot of people disagree about that.
Yeah.
And if you're reading this, It's Too Late was really good. I like that a lot. But just Drake is, he's like the most popular rapper out
For a
right
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like him and Kendrick, but Drake has way more radio play.
Reach. Yeah, we won't. Yeah. Can't argue with that.
I know the 3 of us have talked about this at length at other times, but it's kind of funny. I read a Pitchfork article that contrasted Drake and Kendrick versus Jay-Z and Nas, and just kind of
I saw that.
the mainstream popularity versus, and that kind of shifts now because Kendrick is a lot more mainstream, but the mainstream popularity versus more of like the roots of hip hop.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. So Drake definitely has that mainstream hip hop. Like everyone likes Drake. Like I don't think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people I feel like I feel like he was pretty hated universally for a while because it's like he's just this fake dude who was on Degrassi and comes from a nice part of Canada. It's like, what? Who is this dude?
Who is this guy? Yeah.
He's kind of really, like, stripped away that, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Perception of himself.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Why do you think that is? Do you think that's because of, if you're not reading this, it's too late? Like,
I think
what do
it's
you
just
think the turning point for that was? Not to like totally divulge from this conversation, but like, where was the turning point for Drake? I feel like that's an important question.
That's a good question.
As I sit here scrolling through his
Maybe
projects,
nothing was the same. I feel like that was a really good one.
because
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know, because Take Care had some. I feel like Take Care had the beginnings of that more like intense, like hard hitting hip hop, like
Being a serious artist, yeah.
yeah.
I can enjoy Take Care when I listen to that album.
Dude, it's good. Marvin's, dude. When I'm really feeling myself, I'll put on Marvin's room and just vibe out. Like
Kendrick low-key
gotta
just
go
like
back.
steals the entire album on that interlude too. Anyway, let's move away from Drake and let's move to
Okay.
another big personality who's been mysterious lately. His mysterious absence is
You're
causing
gonna say
some disturbance. Kanye West.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Kanye.
You knew I was gonna say Kanye.
I should have
Oh, yeah.
hive-minded that one.
He put on he put on some weight. His hair was blonde for a while. He was hanging with Donald Trump. What do
Wow, I haven't heard of any of this.
you didn't see
What?
this? There was a picture of him with Trump at Trump Tower.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What did they talk about?
Who knows, dude?
Oh my god.
That was when we were in school still, right?
yeah.
That was like
it
in
was
the fall.
early on. Like I think
Oh,
before Trump was president, maybe?
Yeah, it was like that fall.
Yeah.
I believe.
Anyway, do you guys think he's gonna release something this year?
Uh,
Because Pablo was 2016. He's been laying really low.
yeah, I feel like
I heard
he's
he
just
was-
recording.
I heard he was out in Wyoming recording,
Yeah.
Right.
and he's
I
been to
heard that.
Japan a few times.
I also
Yeah.
heard a rumor that he said that he was going to produce every single Good Music member's album. Like
Whoa.
their next album, he's going to produce all of it. Now, this is Kanye, so it's literally like we're quoting someone who's very unreliable, a very unreliable narrator. Maybe he means that he's just going to have oversight of the whole thing.
I think he will participate in the production.
Yes, he's just going to
But-
sit in the studio and be like, yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
Considering his past like 2 or 3 albums have had like 20 producers plus, like,
Uh-huh.
And I'm just kind of pulling that out of my ass, but like it's it's a good amount of
That's
producers.
fair.
So.
He doesn't make his beats on his own anymore. Definitely, there's been a few years where he just finds young artists like a Chance or like a Travis and like really drains their life force and just like is inspired by their tropes and the things they do.
Drains their life force isn't exactly
that's
the right term, because it's not like he derails their careers. If anything, he puts them up.
No. That's true. Except in the case of Designer, who we could say dug his own grave by just being bad.
But it's kind of like what's the term? Like a super. It's not a supernova, but it's a star that, or a big, or what is it?
Like an imploding, huh?
I don't know. You know, like the stars that just burn out quick.
Yeah.
Like a red giant. Is that what it is?
It's Flugensound.
I think a red giant like lives on for many, many years and is a very slow burn.
Okay, so definitely he's not.
Apologies to my high school physics professor. I don't remember.
I should remember
a lot of
astronomy.
Astrology is the thing where they read the palms. Okay, A$AP Rocky. Do we think he's gonna release anything this year?
Yes.
He's had a few singles.
I would love an
Especially
A$AP Rocky
recently.
album.
The A$AP Mob did something recently, or I guess in 2017. The foamy, what was it called?
Foamy Volume 2 or something.
No,
Comfy
Comfy Tapes Volume 2.
Yeah, which was interesting.
No, Cozy Tapes.
Cozy Tapes. I didn't like it.
I went back to it. I kind of like it a little bit more.
There's some songs on that album that are really fun. I'm trying to.
A$AP Rocky, I've been so into him recently.
Yeah.
He's just like the swaggiest dude alive.
He's got a vibe. Yeah.
Like, I was watching this one video. It was stupid because it was TMZ. I hate TMZ. But they were like interviewing Kanye, and Kanye happened to be with A$AP Rocky. And then like they're talking to Kanye, and A$AP Rocky just comes up being all smooth and like just outclasses Kanye, and it's like they just the camera just like gravitates towards him because he's like, yo, like come check out this show, like, you know, just talking about cool stuff.
That doesn't surprise me. He's a very swaggy dude.
Incredibly so.
He's definitely. I wish he wasn't so quiet in the rap game because he's like, you know, super fashion forward and like puts a good face out there for hip hop. I feel like.
Sure. Yeah.
In that sense, but I would love an A$AP album. I don't know, like I don't know how late to the game I was on that first mixtape. I think is it Live Love A$AP as his first one?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I got into that a little bit not too long after it came out, and like I still have that, like, what is it, Purple Swag Part 2 that runs through my head every now and then, and I still have that album cover in my room as a poster to this day. I think it's like fucking iconic. I think he's just got like a cool artistic vision in general, not necessarily as a rapper specifically, but just in terms of expressing himself.
Yeah.
So,
How
something to watch out
about
for.
Travis Scott? His
I
last
think so.
solo album was 2016, Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight. Pretty banger album.
Fire.
Huncho Jack Huncho dropped at the tail end of 2017. Kind of poopy.
Yeah.
Kind of flop.
Yeah.
We weren't really crazy about it. There were a couple of standouts, I think, but like the standouts like barely stood above anything else. It was just, you know what I mean? Like nothing, there were no like big hits that you were like, oh my god, we gotta listen to this every time we get drunk. No, none of it. Like when we're partying, when we want to put on a song to party, I'm not gonna go to Huncho Jack Huncho. Sorry. So what do we think? Do we think he's gonna release something this year?
I don't know.
If it was later in the year, I wouldn't be surprised. I guess my main takeaway is I'm not that excited. I don't think Travis has a whole lot of flexibility as an artist. I think like these past two albums have probably maxed him out, or at least Birds in the Trap and what's the other one where he's an action figure on the car? Rodeo.
Yeah.
And Days
Both
Before the
great.
Rodeo also was really good. I think he's kind of run his course. It's kind of like the Kid Cudi effect, not to equate him to that too much, but like I think there's only so much style that can go behind that.
Yeah, I'm not that excited about it either. He's had a few features recently that just have been really kind of bland, and nothing he's really put out has wowed me recently.
I think I'm excited more for his features rather than if you
Yes.
told me like an album. I'm not really down to listen to another album.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that feature with Kendrick in the new Black Panther
Panther.
album.
And that's like, and that just kind of goes back to like rap now is like it's turned into such like an aesthetic. Like Travis Scott, Quavo, Future, like they all sound really, really fucking good on most production. And like that's not a bad thing, but it's just funny how that works. Like now I feel like those guys are gonna just evolve into like feature rappers.
Probably, yeah.
Which, not a bad thing, but it is what it is.
How about, speaking of Quavo, the Migos? Are they going to release... Oh, wait a minute. They did.
Psych.
Culture 2.
Got him.
Good segue there.
Yeah, how'd we feel about that?
Yeah, Matt and I have talked about this a little bit. It's just... So I'll tell you a story of me listening to it. I was just at the gym, and I just wanted to listen to it front to back. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't listen to this whole album front to back. It's 24 tracks. It's ridiculous.
So long.
It doesn't need to be that long. Stir Fry is by far the best song of the album, and really the only good one that's going to last. And that's my 2 cents on it.
I can agree with everything you said.
Yeah, I feel like this album, as far as most hip hop fans go, it's too long. It's a stream grab, which we kind of talked about before this whole podcast got going. But like, the sound is so similar throughout. I think there are a few songs that have some funny riffs, like the end of Too Much Jewelry, like they get crazy in the synths and they start fluctuating their voices a lot, and I like crack up at that. The song Two Plays with 2 Chainz, I believe, has a sax in it and 2 Chainz, so it's just like swaggy as hell.
Yeah. And
the song Gang Gang, where they sing through it, even though they just say gang gang almost the entire song.
Yeah.
It's still like, it's fun. And that's one part about the Migos that I weirdly like, is everyone has a different Migos song that they just somehow vibe with.
Yeah.
So overall, not impressed, but it was fun. Like, it's been real. And also, they have released this on like Dat Piff and everything as a mixtape, so they kind of save their asses in my eyes. Not saying it's like an album. They're still obviously getting revenue off it, but
yeah. Do you think that Culture 2 might just be throwaway stuff from Culture 1? Do you think it might be a B-sides kind of deal? In reality, like I don't think they're selling it that way, but like it's just so many tracks, and these guys doesn't take a lot of thought to come up with their verses. So maybe they just like blurt out 50 tracks and then pick the best ones for the first one.
Yeah.
Mediocre ones for the second one.
That's what it makes me... I was thinking about that because it's like... I was like, wow, this is 24 tracks. Oh my God, they put out that much music. And then you listen to it, it's like, that, no wonder. Yeah, okay. Wow, we're on the 3rd song about drugs. Okay, next song. Wow, we're on like the 5th song about
girls and drugs.
Like,
yeah, yep.
Wait, do they have a lot of money? I can't tell. Oh, yeah, they said it.
Money.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, money.
said
No,
it.
they do have money.
It is funny, though, that they're all on camera. They're super fucking humble, which I love. Like, they got interviewed.
Seen that.
They got interviewed during, there was some NBA game. I think it was an Atlanta game I was watching. And they were all, like, almost soft-spoken. Like, and not that I would expect them to speak well or eloquently on camera, which they didn't, but that's totally fine. I probably wouldn't either. But they were all just like, thank you, we appreciate the support, all this. And like, they weren't, not braggadocious or anything. The album's a whole different story, but
it's interesting.
They
They
seem
have
like
this
good
like
guys.
quiet gangster demeanor. It's just like, I don't want to say much because I don't want anything to like incriminate me. Like they seem humble, but like this hard.
They don't
humble,
want to. They don't want to lose by saying less. They don't lose that hardness to them, even though they're making millions of dollars.
I would totally disagree. I saw a different interview where they got interviewed by Nardwuar. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Well, that weird guy on YouTube.
And it was like nonsense. It was just like the human embodiment of their music. Like they just, they get asked a question, and then they would just start talking about their jewelry. And it was like, how did you get here? And nothing you're saying is making sense. And you guys are just saying taglines. It's like all their answers was just like it. It's like, okay. What are you saying?
For real, man. Yeah, they always, yeah.
We be iced up. It's like, yeah, okay, so how did you get the inspiration for these songs?
Yeah, well, that's literally, I think, how they got it. They look at all their ice, and they're like, oh, wow, look,
whoa.
ice. Okay.
But yeah, I don't think they're dropping an album. I think that was it for them.
Yeah.
For the year.
Okay. Well, there's a couple other ones, but we can talk about these new releases more. We got the new Justin Timberlake album. We're getting the Brockhampton album, which of course we're gonna have a lot to say about. We can talk about those maybe on a new releases segment. Let's jump into the Grammys.
Yep.
We watched the Grammys last weekend.
Yep.
What did you guys think? I'm pretty disappointed, as always, really, with the Grammys. Bruno Mars got a lot of awards. SZA got none. Kendrick got a couple. Yeah, give me some thoughts.
Yeah, it was... I've never watched the Grammys before, so... I don't know. I mean, it's like every other award show, It's like super fake.
Yeah.
And, dolled up, and they're... You really only watch for the awkward moments, because it's live and there's so much pressure and things have to be right. And one moment that I thought was terribly awkward that you and I commented on, and I'm pointing to Yiorgos, was when John Legend and Tony Bennett were presenting an award. And they kept shoehorning in the word legend. It's like, presenting this award, two legends.
That was so silly.
and then John Legend was like turning to Tony Bennett, and he's like, and I am pleased to be next to this legend. And then they sang something together, and then Kendrick got
New York. Did they sing New York?
Yeah, they
New York?
did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Kendrick and Rihanna got the award for Best Rap Song.
That was more awkward.
And then Kendrick standing up there, and Rihanna should be standing next to him, but Tony Bennett is off in La La Land, standing in front of Rihanna.
And Rihanna's behind Kendrick, and then Kendrick at some point he's talking about thank you Rihanna, blah blah, and at some point he's like, Rihanna, come here, stand next to me, and Tony Bennett just has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But however, I did enjoy Kendrick's presence on the stage. He was smiling. He seemed like he was happy to be there, not just in his performance, obviously, which was amazing, but when he got the award, the two awards, he got up for twice, didn't he? Once with Rihanna, once on his own, for Rap Album of the Year. Yeah.
I don't know.
And he was like, "Yeah, man, hip hop, man."
He didn't. I feel like he wasn't ready.
Yeah, but he seemed comfortable on the stage, whereas in the past, I think he got on the stage, he was really quiet and really he seemed shy.
Yeah.
He seemed like he was owning it.
Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about was the YouTube performance in front of nobody when they performed on a boat next to the Statue of Liberty for a crowd of 0 people.
Two, what are you doing?
And we were watching, and we were like, I don't care about U2. Does anybody our age care about U2?
We were picturing Bono saying, "I want to perform in front of the Statue of Liberty. I want the statue." And that one shot that they got of
it's also ironic just because they're not American either.
Yeah. What's up? Go back, sing about the UK.
There's only one woman I will sing for.
That's
And he was doing this really corny ass thing where he got an American flag painted megaphone, and he's
"Oh yeah,
we will not stand for this." Just doing really generic revolution type talk.
Yeah. I think they got a bigger applause when they came on stage with Kendrick, on that feature, than they did throughout the rest of the night. And they came on stage a couple times.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad for me in a sense because that's one of my dad's favorite bands.
Me too.
And my parents' favorite bands.
Me too. I grew up with you too.
We went to Bonnaroo this summer and they were a headliner, and I don't know if you went, Ben, but I I was just like, I think I stayed for a song maybe and just kind of bounced just to say that I saw them. But
Yeah, it's a shame because they're legends, but they're just not relevant here anymore, especially after that iPhone fiasco. Where like
that was horrible.
Their
They
album was on everyone's new
they
iPhone,
forced the
and
album
people
out.
couldn't delete it.
Yeah.
That's such a weird move, and I feel like if someone like Drake had done that, maybe he could have pulled it off. But still, you'd get hate for that. I think whoever did that, that was kind of a trap that they fell into.
I feel like I'm like supposed to care about U2 because older generations like them, so I'm like, oh heck, like hell yeah, like U2, and I'm like, wait, do I care?
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. Some of their, I mean, obviously some of their older songs, when I hear them now, I'll like Where the Streets Have No Name. I can't remember any others right now, but they have some like really good songs.
Yeah, all those songs that you named.
Stuck in a Moment That You
know.
Can't Get Out of for
the album,
9/11.
the album
That was
Joshua
amazing.
Tree is pretty highly regarded in most music circles, from what I know. I haven't really listened to it, but I know it's a big
Exactly,
deal. Like when
'cause we're
they,
supposed to care.
yeah,
Okay, let's move on from U2. What about SZA didn't get any awards. How do we feel about that?
I didn't really listen
what-
to her
what was
album
she-
too much, so
I'm looking at the awards right now. Like, she probably lost to Kendrick on most of them because he won.
She was nominated for Best New Artist. She
Okay,
lost
so-
to
Oh yeah, that was
that girl. What's her name?
Elisa song.
Yeah.
I
Her.
she shouldn't have lost to.
She was on the the Logic
Elisa
song. Alicia
Cara.
Cara. Alicia Cara. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. SZA got snubbed, I think. Well, she was
Yeah.
nominated for a couple
That's-
things, but like didn't win anything.
that's just one of those things where I feel like she picked up in the mainstream a little ways before her too, because she dropped an album. I don't know if it was the year before or right at the beginning of last year.
Which
So
one are you
maybe
talking about?
Elisa
SZA or
no,
Alicia Cara?
Alicia Cara. Because there are a few good songs on that. I've listened to Outlaws and what's the other one? It's like her most well-known song. Stay. Yeah. Or no, it's not Stay. Fuck.
Stay's the
Here.
one that she did with
Outlaws
Zed.
and Here.
Oh, yeah.
They're fun and sound good, but they're really poppy. I don't know.
Very
I'm also
poppy.
like super biased to SZA, but I don't consider her new because she dropped that album in 2015. Why is she getting voted Best New Artist in 2017?
Yeah,
when that's her most recent album.
That's
That makes
fair.
you a
Zero
new
sense.
artist because Lil Uzi Vert has been around for
That's
a
like
while.
when Chance won it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
Makes no
how does
sense.
it?
It's when the Grammys catch up and find out about you.
Yeah.
So like 2 years after you jump on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. Sadly, Donald Glover didn't win anything.
But look, can I just point out she pretty much won that award off that Zed song.
oh yeah,
If we're
What song
really
is that?
for sure.
Stay.
Are you looking at the plays on Spotify?
Yeah,
me some numbers.
that and just so that song has 566 million views or listens, and then off her 2015 album, there's a song called "Scars to Your Beautiful," which which has 394 million.
Okay.
But that's a lot. But that was also released in 2015, whereas "Stay" was released in 2017. It was this year, so.
It was way more recent.
But that now I'm pissed because that's total bullshit that she won that award off one song when
Yeah,
SZA dropped one
it's
of the
kind of a
best albums
shame.
of the year.
Yeah.
But
Lauren, do you
I
have a
don't get a
take
vote.
on Alicia Cara?
Not really.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I can talk about the Grammys though.
tell us
oh
about.
yeah.
So
Right here, come sit over here.
and now, it's time for Lauren's take.
Lauren's take.
Hello, Lauren.
Friends. But yeah, no, the big thing about the Grammy that was going around on Facebook and stuff, it's all about Kesha and her
Oh
performance
yeah.
and stuff.
Let's
after,
talk about
her,
that.
Like sexual harassment stuff went on. She sang "Praying." She's all about her like being proud of who she is and like thanking people for making her stronger and like surrounded by headphones. Oh, I don't like this.
She wasn't surrounded by
like,
headphones.
surrounded by like a bunch of women and stuff, and she was
yeah.
like in almost like tears by the end of it, and Yeah.
It was a pretty moving performance. That was the one of the two. That one and 1-800. Like at the end where Logic does that speech to like, bring us your immigrants and like the world is awesome and blah, blah, blah. That praying moment was definitely a highlight.
Yeah, I feel like I thought that they were gonna touch upon like all the sexual harassment stuff coming out more. But I mean, they tastefully touched upon it with Kesha performing that, which is a long way from her coming from TikTok and
Indeed.
all that jazz.
She was also, didn't she have a huge story where she was like under, I don't know, she had some weird deal with her record label, right?
Yeah,
Where
she was like
tied
assigned.
down.
Yeah, she was like tied down to some record label and couldn't release like what she wanted to. She had like a big struggle. She went through all this like eating disorder stuff, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know if she went to like rehab or something, but she got help and then had the whole like sexual harassment thing.
Yeah.
And is finally like off of that past label and everything. So
She went through a lot.
she
However,
deserves a W.
sadly, my prediction is that after this, we won't really hear about Kesha ever again. This was like her comeback, one-hit wonder, the second time over. I think she's going to fade out after
I think
this.
she like needs to like for herself. I think at this
Maybe.
point she's had enough of the craziness.
Yeah, she's probably still making money off of her old hits,
needs
right?
to go do her somewhere else.
Definitely some royalties there. I still play them from time to time. Dinosaur's still a jam.
Sure.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else that stood out to you about the Grammys?
Oh yeah. I thought that whole reading of Fire and Fury was kind of bullshit.
Yeah, they
it
always
just-
try to put politics in there. They know their audience. They know that everyone's super liberal, so they gotta make fun of Trump.
It was just like, I don't know. It was, you don't really know like everyone. I mean, like you said, the audience is probably liberal, but you don't know like, you know, who everyone is that's listening to it, and to have
Yeah.
something that's like having like Cardi B of all people taking shots at the president. It's like, it just feels, you know, a little, I don't know, tasteless. if
Shoehorned.
anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and
I
it's
agree
like,
with
is that really the time and place for it? I don't
Music
really know.
is supposed to be like unifying too, and the Grammys are like celebrating how music's like bringing everyone together, and then they're just hating on half the country and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, it's
And they're like nationally like
televised.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just didn't feel like it belonged. you
yeah.
know?
Felt a little forced. That's true.
Yeah. Oh yes, another thing. Sorry, I keep going off on this, but DJ Khaled, quote unquote, performing. I never thought I'd get a chance to perform for the Grammys, and he never did till this day. He's never performed at the Grammys,
Rihanna-
unless you can count. Yeah, get it, Rihanna. Yeah, we the best.
Wild thoughts. Wild thoughts.
Yeah, sing that song I didn't even produce for. Good
Andy's
Lord.
fun fact about DJ Khaled that apparently before 9/11 his name was Arab Attack.
Arab Attack,
Had to
indeed.
change that real quick.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah, it was. Well, Rihanna killed it at least in that
Yeah.
song.
I thought so.
We got Rihanna. But yeah, Khaled, calm down. Go back to. Stop putting your son on Snapchat. Stop televising your son.
But it works at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, I hate him, but I gotta know what's going on with him.
If it ain't broke, we the best. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What else? Shape of You won the pop song over Praying and Million Reasons. Again, what are you doing, Grammys? Like, you pretend you care and then you give Ed Sheeran the Song of the Year.
But shouldn't it
best
just
pop
go?
solo.
Shouldn't it just go to the person who's the best?
But what I don't know.
What defines best? Are they? Well, that's the thing. The Grammys just always go with what was the most popular, and it's true that Shape of You was way more popular than the rest of these. But they could have made a little statement, not just by having the people perform, but by giving them an award. Give them an award. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, but then it's like a consolation award.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know?
That's fair.
You want to actually earn it.
Best pop album, sure, whatever. Oh, Evolve lost to Ed Sheeran.
I'm not surprised.
Your
but,
beloved Dragons.
Yeah, do like me some Dragons. I had another performance moment that stuck out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Elton John with Miley Cyrus.
That was interesting.
It's like, it's nice to see her get her shit together. You know?
Yeah. And she's a great vocalist. We forget that, like, she's good.
From twerking on Robin Thicke to
Oh, no.
eloquently singing with Elton John is pretty nice.
Yeah,
to see.
true. You just had
Elton
to bring
John's
up...
also gay, so that kind of crossed that off for...
Oh, you don't think she would twerk on
No.
Elton John?
Actually,
Oh, no. Elton John would love that, I think.
Yeah, he'd probably be into it.
He'd find that hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, what would be more bizarre, to see Miley Cyrus twerking on Elton John or to see Robin Thicke seriously playing the piano?
The first one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely
probably
the
still
first
the first one, yeah.
She
Okay.
should have twerked on Elton John, for the record.
That would have been
Would have been
dope.
sick. Especially if the song just had nothing to do with like any sort of twerking.
It's like a slow song, and
Yeah.
she's like violently twerking on it.
Okay. Anything else about the Grammys? Got anything else for us?
Yeah.
I thought Kendrick's live performances were really good. I don't know if you guys want to speak to those,
It
but
was amazing. As always, I think. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, truth be told, to me it wasn't as mind-blowing as a couple others. Like, when he did All Right and he was, like, on a cop car. Like,
That was crazy.
He's been a little bit more controversial before. It was a shame because they muted, like, he had to censor himself, which I think maybe always happens on award shows.
Yeah.
yeah, it does.
But, like, I did like the gunshots when people were just
Yeah,
falling.
that
Like,
part of it
he still made his point, but, like, in a more abstract, safe for television way.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
He's really riding his own wave. Like, you know, he's really... I just enjoy seeing him in the fucking, like, what's that? The wool?
Kimono.
Coat?
No, was he? I don't know.
Fur.
Fur.
With the fur hoods and, like, the... I don't know.
He's coming into his own style.
He's a star.
too.
Yeah, he's a rock star now. And he's killing it.
Yeah. He deserves to be there.
Yeah.
You know?
But I hope he comes back. You know?
To what?
To real Kendrick.
Yeah.
Which is...
You don't think he was real in his last album?
I think he's pretending to be something he's not. And I think that... I predict that that's going to be a part of...
His next album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he's going to be like... He
His dive into the mainstream.
Yeah, he constantly talks about the trappings of fame. I think he's been talking about the trappings of fame even since Good Kid, Mad City. But now I think that he's actually up there and, like, trapped in the trappings of fame.
He's got to get back into the trap.
I mean,
you know?
once you have a rapper that has a shoe deal with Nike, that's not Kanye West or anyone
It's interesting because
like
he had to deal with Reebok, right? At
Did
first.
he?
And now he's with Nike, moving around left and
that.
right.
He's a big player. Reebok's not really a big player anymore. So.
Yeah. Speaking of big players, let's move on to the segment called New Kids on the Block, and we're going to close out with this guy.
Yay.
You guys have wanted to do this segment for a while. New Kids on the Block, meaning we have a new wave of rappers that's come in that has taken the industry by storm, one might say.
Yep.
These are known as SoundCloud rappers. Also, what did you call them before? The poppin' pill rappers or something? Like,
I think I was talking about a different rapper, but I don't remember.
Yeah, you were like, I don't.
he
You
had a
rhymed
good
it
quote.
so well.
He had a good quotable. Poppin' pills,
Why couldn't you just?
making bills. It
Yeah.
wasn't that. But so names such as Lil Yachty, Lil Pump, Kodak Black, 21 Savage. I personally could also throw the Migos in there. But of course,
Tentacion.
oh yeah, we forgot about him. Of course, talk a little bit about that distinction between the Migos and these guys that you were telling me earlier before the show.
Well, I feel like with Yachty, Pump, Kodak, and 21 Savage, what you get a little bit more is the social media aspect, or at least their rise to fame was heavily brought on by their Twitter presence and their Instagram presence, especially like in certain interviews you can see Lil Yachty talking about it and how like just by saying ridiculous and maybe not controversial things, but things to get him attention in the viral world, that he was able to build a following. And he wasn't even rapping at that point in his life. He just decided to start rapping because he had this big following on Twitter, and now he's this huge entity who has a deal with Nautica and is followed by millions of people and has released like 2 pretty mainstream albums. So all that just by being weird on social media, like that's crazy. And I mean,
of course, the Migos didn't use that to rise to fame. They are more true blue. Make a mixtape, make an album, an album, and then you become famous. Like they put in their 10,000 hours. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's one of the things.
For them, it's probably like 10 minutes.
10,000 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe I think that's an interesting thing that I actually just realized about all these SoundCloud rappers. It's kind of the very quick rise to fame.
Yeah.
That like kind of is indicative of their sound, which is also interesting because most of them talk about how successful they are. And it's like, dude, you just came out of the blue. You came out of nowhere. How are you just talking about all your success? Like, a lot of them make money from selling drugs. Like, that's a well-known thing, that they sell drugs, make money, and then with that money, they make rap albums.
It's so weird that they don't incriminate themselves.
Yeah, right?
You know,
how does
it's
that work?
like,
if I went on the air and said, "Hey, everyone, I sell a bunch of drugs,"
it's free speech, so it's like, oh, I didn't really do that.
That's true. If the feds have like no proof, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, you know, you're like keying people in on that fact.
That's true. You're kind of like making yourself a
I think it's weird
so
when they shoot
weird.
music videos and they're doing a ton of drugs.
Yeah.
That's what rubs. I'm like, how do you get away with that? That doesn't make sense to me. But
yeah, it's odd. Maybe they can like say that it's props.
Yeah, there's no way to
That's
actually
probably
prove that there were drugs used. They could have just been fake.
I should know this. That there might be something they sign that's like they're all props, it's all fake. When of course,
it's not.
Who really knows?
We should do a legalities episode. You know, just dive into the very nitty-gritty rhetoric of legal documents regarding music videos.
We got to make some law school friends. Get them on the podcast.
You think Joe Budden went to law school? You know, since we're bringing him on.
Joe Budden is the law, dude.
Snap.
Apparently.
I don't think Joe Budden ever went to school.
Podcast.
Wow. We're just trashing Joe Budden.
I'm being a little too mean. But,
we're sorry, Joe Budden.
Sorry, Joe. Don't cry.
Not sorry.
Don't hate us.
Not sorry.
Yo, Maisie, what up? Maisie's walking around the table.
Yeah, yo, that's my second shout out. Shout out to Maisie. It's her 1 year anniversary of being alive, aka her first birthday. Cue the pew pew pew.
Pew, 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 pew. Happy birthday, Maisie. I hope that was captured by our microphones.
Definitely was.
Maisie, you want to say a few words? That roughly translates to wasn't too crazy about the new Drake album.
Yeah, Maisie, my girl.
That's a rough translation, so
Maisie knows what's up.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Anything else to say about the new Kids on the Block here? These candy rappers, also as they're called.
I don't know. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about them because I feel like the subject matter in their songs doesn't have any sort of depth, which
kind of
is
non-existent.
It's just like ironic that they have so much content but have no depth. You know what I mean? Like technically their content is deep because there's so much that they post, but none of it means anything.
Yeah.
And somehow that gives them a following, which I feel like rappers like Kendrick or J. Cole have so much more going on than that, but at the moment they kind of slightly fall by the wayside to some of these rappers with the younger generation. Like I don't know what these rappers were in terms of our generation, but in terms of like Generation Y, it seems like a Lil Pump is kind of the face of that generation, which is fucking mind-boggling, dude. Like I have a friend who's a middle school teacher, and he has to he gets in debates with kids about how like Lil Pump is a worse rapper than certain rappers that we listen to. I can't cite a specific example, but he gets into crazy debates with people.
Well, isn't that a thing though? That like, don't the young generations always want to find something edgy, something that like other people aren't listening to?
Yeah.
Like I feel like for us it was like
It was Odd Future for me.
maybe it was artists like Pitbull. For some reason, Pitbull jumps into my head. Dale, Mr. 305.
Well, I was gonna say like I think it's kind of just indicative of like where media has gone in general. Like everything's getting condensed down, kind of just to the lowest common denominator. You know, like our parents watch, you know, like feature length films that are, you know, have a lot of depth, and now we're, you know, like trending more towards like short TV shows.
Yeah,
and
true.
And like, you know, like Vine came along and it's only 6-second videos, and like memes make no sense and are somehow funny. And
it's true.
Now it's like things don't even need to really have much artistic value or even have meaning. It's almost just like things are entertaining just because of the fact that they don't make any sense,
and they're different.
That it's almost defying any logic at all. So like,
it's more just accreditation that it's a unique thought.
Yeah.
Even if the thought is incoherent.
Yes. Like if there's just the slightest thing that can tie it together, you're like, oh, that was clever.
Maybe our next episode on the podcast should just be us blurting out random words that don't make sense.
Sushi. No, does that make sense?
Camel.
I got nothing.
I'm
so tired.
Matty G's out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Feel bad this segment was kind of a flop.
The segment wasn't our strongest, maybe, but
it could be.
I did like the little spiel that you did here at the end. That was actually a very coherent way of bringing together how I feel about this new generation of rappers, and even the general stance of our media, where our media is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like even really little things that we don't notice, like the skip intro button on Netflix.
Sure.
It's like,
oh yeah.
It's like, okay, well, you know, we used to wait a week for 21 minutes of content if you're watching a weekly 30-minute show. Wait a week, and then during that 30 minutes that it's on, you need to wait for like 2-minute increments for commercial breaks.
Uh-huh.
And now it's like, okay, I can just watch like 30 hours of TV in a row, and now I don't even need to watch the 5 minutes of intro, because that is incredibly annoying now.
Yeah, that is true. I usually skip the intros when I watch Netflix shows. I watch them a couple times at the beginning, except for Big Mouth, because that song's a jam.
Yeah.
But
now I'm forgetting how that even relates back to Lil Pump.
It's the fact that you were talking about how we're very we're running out of patience. Basically, we want quick, easy, like easily digestible things.
Yeah.
But the truth is that maybe in television that's not true, because shows that are like really deep and really meta have found a lot of success, like Big Mouth and like Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of critically acclaimed shows that are doing well, but I mean, you know, like shows are different, but there's a lot of like YouTube and like internet content out there that isn't exactly being monitored by any sort of board of review or anything that people watch a lot of. That's just trash, you know?
Which is why, because we didn't want to fall under that category, we actually have a board that reviews these podcasts before we upload them.
Yeah,
Fun fact.
Yeah, Maisie's she's the head of the board.
She's actually the only one on the board?
Well,
Joe Budden's also on the board.
Matty G
this
comes
one might
back
make
with
it.
punchline.
he actually shoots down every episode.
Yeah. That's why we've only gotten 3 out to this point.
Yeah.
And that's why maybe after this episode you may never hear from us again.
Joe Budden did it.
Exactly. If you never hear from us again after this episode, blame Joe Budden. And I think we should leave it at that. I kind of like that as the ending to this episode.
Yeah.
Signing off, my name is Yiorgos.
My name is not Joe Budden. Happy birthday, Bubs.
Happy birthday, Maisie, a.k.a. Bubs. See you later, everybody.